Okay, we're going to get started very quickly. I'm going to say one more time. Anyone who wants to ask a question needs to fill out a card. You will not be able to speak from the audience. If you do, I'll give you one warning. If you do it again, I will ask you to leave.
She doesn't need a microphone, does she?
I don't think I do either.
I know, right?
We're not going to argue about that, 'cause I want to be able to capture everybody through here. Looks like we had a pretty good turnout for this thing. I think this is, what would you think? Is this the best one we've seen so far?
At least this year.
At least this year. Yeah, you're pretty quick here, guy. You're running for office again? We're glad to see everybody here, because this is a good opportunity to get information and not vote based on who's got the most yard signs. You know, you can ask them questions and they're going to tell you what they think, and we're going to videotape them, so we're going to hold them accountable for what they say. So, and speaking of that, we started an organization called ZB Cops, if anybody's seen it. We've been out there at the district high school videotaping their meetings. Zion Township videotapes their meetings. What we're looking for is transparency in government. We know that Winthrop Harbor provides theirs on live stream, not on live stream, but on YouTube. But we're getting down to the nitty gritty on how our taxes have raised over the years and how much we're paying to the high school, which is fine if you're not just moving money from the education fund to the building fund. So we need to get our kids educated so that when they can read and write and get a good job and a good career. So at any rate, visit zbcops.com and you can learn more about what we're up to, because we're going to be visiting villages, committees, and so on, and looking for transparency and visibility. So I'm going to turn it back over to Margot. Yeah, because she'll blow your ears off.
Okay, the way it's going to work, I'm going to start with the mayor candidates. They're going to each have 3 minutes to do an introduction, and I'm going to ask them some questions for about a half an hour. From there, we're going to move on to the trustees. They'll each have 3 minutes to do an introduction, and then I'm going to ask them questions, and then we're going to move on to the township candidates and do the same thing. At the end, hopefully we'll have enough time to give each of them 3 minutes to do a closing. And it's 1 o'clock, so we're going to begin. And we'll begin with Mayor Bruno to make his introduction.
Thank you for this opportunity. Serving as mayor of Winthrop Harbor for the last 8 years has been the greatest privilege of my life. With this election, I hope to have earned the honor of your vote once again. Leadership isn't about a title, it's about working together, setting a clear vision, and making decisions that move our village forward. Over the years, we built a strong team, improved infrastructure, and strengthened our finances. We've secured millions of dollars in grants, invested in road repairs, park enhancements, and public safety, all while maintaining responsible budgets and avoiding unnecessary tax increases. Economic development has also been a major focus. We've modernized ordinances, supported local businesses, and positioned Winthrop Harbor as a destination for both residents and visitors. Our efforts have brought in new businesses and strengthened our local economy, and we will continue to build on that momentum. Beyond physical improvements, financial responsibility remains a top priority. We have balanced our budgets, reduced operational costs, and implemented smart financial policies that ensure long-term stability by making fiscally responsible choices, even been able to invest in critical needs without placing additional burden on taxpayers. I've also fought to make sure Winthrop Harbor's voice is heard at the state level by working directly with legislators and advocating our needs. We've secured vital funding for infrastructure, parks, and public safety. Looking ahead, my commitment remains strong. If re-elected, I will continue prioritizing economic growth, infrastructure improvements, and quality of life initiatives. We will expand recreational programming, enhance our parks and public spaces, and work closely with regional partners to secure additional funding for key projects. Winthrop Harbor's success is not about one person. It's about all of us working together. I am proud for what we've accomplished, but there is more work to be done. With your support, we will continue to work of making Winthrop Harbor the cornerstone of Illinois. Thank you. I didn't want to get cut off, so I read it fast.
Hang on. You get 3 minutes, remember that. If either one of you want to ask any questions, please fill out a card.
Okay. We should have came in the other door, sorry.
Anyone who wants to ask questions, please fill out a card.
Ready? Good.
Because I don't know how to clear this thing, even though I said so.
Could I get one able-bodied man to help her get more chairs out of the back? Thank you.
Ready? Okay.
All right, I just want to start by thanking everybody for being here this afternoon and also for the people that set up the candidate forum. I was born and raised here in Winthrop Harbor. I graduated from Zion Benton, and it's just like my kids. This isn't just where I live, it's my home. It's where I grew up. It's where I built my life and where I raised my family. Every decision I make is rooted in my love for this community and my commitment to making it the best it can be. I'm running because I believe Winthrop Harbor deserves a leadership that listens, acts with integrity, and delivers real results. Right now, we're seeing rising taxes, budget failures, and infrastructure that's falling apart. Our town deserves better. It's time for a change in Winthrop Harbor. This is not about Mayor Bruno as a person. He's a fine man. This is about leadership and the ability to effectively manage the village. Winthrop Harbor needs leadership that prioritizes accountability, collaboration, and clear vision for our community's future. We deliver leaders who ensure every taxpayer dollar is spent wisely and that the village operates with transparency and integrity. As mayor, I will do exactly that. My dedication and passion to guide Winthrop Harbor towards a brighter future and bring us back to the days we operated as a team. I understand the importance of strong leadership. I will bring fiscal responsibility, making sure every dollar is spent wisely. The support for public safety, standing with our first responders and law enforcement. Accountability and transparency, because you deserve a mayor who's honest and answers to you. As mayor, with our dedicated trustees, we can restore trust in our village leadership, revitalize our community with effective and measurable economic strategies, foster a positive work environment where staff is valued and motivated. So, on that note, I ask for your vote and in return promise you results. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question, and then whoever wants to answer it can answer it, but some of them may be directed to one person. They're not supposed to be, but they may be. Question's going to be for the mayors right now, and then we'll move on to the trustees afterwards.
Please talk louder.
Okay, I will do that. You have indicated on a flyer that the village has got $1,800,000 in grants since 2017. Who wrote the grants and when, and now where are they used?
We did get 1.8 million. 620,000 was for the Public Works remodel building. They had originally taken out a $750,000 loan. I tabled that on my first agenda in 2017, and we wrote it. We filled out. We did what we had to do to apply for a grant. We got that grant. Unfortunately, the Public Work COVID hit, so it didn't really come open up until the end of 21, early 22. So that's $620,000 right there. $444,000, I testified in front of a bipartisan Senate subcommittee for infrastructure needs. We got $444,000 for our roads. As it said in my pamphlet, I don't have one in front of me, but we did get 1.6 million, and then we got $200,000 for pickleball and playground equipment recently. But we did have gotten $1.8 million.
And the only thing on that is if we would have acted right away on our building, so COVID did hit and prices skyrocketed on building materials. If we would have acted first and went ahead with our renovations and knowing that we were going to get, knowing not that we were going to get it, but assuming we were going to get a grant, we would have got almost twice as much and been able to do twice as much on that building. But we waited. And we got the grant and it was totally funded, but if we would have had, if we would have went limb, maybe you say, I don't think it really is. If we'd have just went forward with doing it, we'd have got much more out of that money. That's all.
Next question. What is your plan on enhancing the village tax base while holding the line on homeowners' tax burden?
Holding the line on taxes. Well, we've never ever raised our taxes over the 4.98% tax levy. We've never gone out for an increase in taxes. We get 11% of the tax bill for the village, and that's a pretty small percentage, but we make do with what we get.
Yeah, holding a line on the taxes. So if I were elected, my plan is to work diligently with our state legislators. There are plenty of opportunities there that we can provide stuff like one good plan I thought of is maybe we try to get them to lower our gas tax here just within, or the whole state for that matter, with the surrounding states. Because if we hold that line on that gas tax within maybe, we'll say a 3-mile radius, we can get that, all that MFT money goes into our people buying our gas here instead of going across the borders. So there's lots of opportunities you can look at to save. And we don't want to raise taxes by no means.
Next question. What are your plans for economic development on Sheridan Road, 7th Street, and the Marina?
Well, we're starting to promote and market the 7th Street corridor. We're looking for senior living there. Sheridan Road, we have all the TIF all the way up down Sheridan Road. We're starting to market that as well. We did talk to, actually this is on 9th and Lewis, that property, that big farm field. We have had a conversation with the owners of it. And Dave, our village administrator, is going to start promoting that and putting it out to the builders and websites and construction companies. So, but we are working on economic development. It's difficult because we have to market our village. We have to get everything in order to get that started.
So I would plan on engaging business members, realtors, homeowners, to try to create a consortium to explore all the options and come up with a strategic plan. I would also like to initiate stuff with corporations and individuals who could come in and have the money to provide that tax revenue. We would work with the Marina. The Marina is a valuable asset. It's been there since my dad was mayor in this time, and they promised us a hotel. We probably can't get that, but we want to get something down there and promote it. They're promoting it already. We got the car show down there. We do, we've got the brewery down there. We do lots of events. It's just trying to get people to come here, and try to get the state to either, a lot of people go to Racine, they go to Kenosha, they go to Waukegan. That's the largest marina on Lake Michigan, so I think we just got to promote that and try to get more out of it.
What are your thoughts regarding village parks and recreational activities for children and adults?
Well, in our village park, we've had the softball and baseball for years. We have the walk path around the park. Not something I really thought about, but we are trying to get more kids to be involved with the sporting events, and really, it's kind of a question that, we'd like to do more, but, a lot of kids are not participating in sports anymore. We can't even get, some softball and baseball teams, they keep shrinking in size, but we'll look at that, but right now, that's, something that we haven't really done a whole lot with.
So I think we should probably, bring in the schools, the churches, the non-for-profits. We have several non-for-profit organizations that started up. We have several that have been existing in town for a while without mentioning names. But I believe we can get everybody together and plan for a better use for our park system. We can promote and rent our facilities like this one right here. This is a great facility. A lot of people don't know it's here. We just got to get out there and promote it. It's there for people to use and people in town. And if you have certain parties and stuff, this. We had a flood. We replaced the floor and stuff, but this place is great. And I think that'll generate the funding to create a better future for our children and our people in town.
What is your plan to improve the roads, sewer, and water infrastructure?
Well, we do 10 miles of roads a year, and if we had more revenue and more MFT, we'd try to do more than that. Sewer and water, we have a 30% water loss that the federal government are mandating that we get it down, and we're working on that. It's a 3-year plan. It's a $1.6 million plan. And 800,000 of it we already took care of by buying the water meters. So the individual residents are usually responsible for the water meters, so they won't have to purchase those because we will have them for them. But water, the streets, and I guarantee, just driving around campaigning, the streets are bad, but we're trying to do as much as we can with what we have.
So that's a good one. So I guess I'll be dedicated to taking a holistic look at the budget. We got to look at the budget. We got to look at means, and that ties in what I was saying about lobbying downstate to try to get things to change, because a lot of it's based on that MFT tax. So we got to find the efficiencies so we can allocate funds for the roads and the infrastructure. And so, for example, we have spent an extreme amount of money on excess money on outsourcing a lot of the things we do at this village. So we could do more stuff in-house, I believe. There are lots of means to do that, which would then create more money for our roads and the infrastructure.
When is the water bill $27 debt service charge going away?
That's a good question. I know that was something we had talked about, bringing it, dropping it, eliminating it. But then when this $1.6 million plan came up, we need to get, we're paying the first $800,000. It's 1.6 or 800,000 left. Where we had to raise the water rates, and the debt fee probably will not disappear until this project's done. Now, Dave and I are planning on going out to talk to our congressman in Washington. We haven't set a date to go out there, but we plan to go out and try to see if we can get the other $800,000 through a grant. No guarantees, because not much is moving in Washington right now. But we're going to invite that, and if we get 200 or 400 or 600, it's better than nothing. But hopefully, once we get this done, that we can look at bringing that debt fee and reducing that debt fee. But if we can get the 800,000, we should be able to lower the water rates from what we increased it recently. But that's still a big question mark. Well, but we're working on that, and we do have good working relationships with our congressman and our state rep and our state senator.
Yeah, so what we have now, we don't want to increase anything. The water rates are what they are. We're not in business to lose money, obviously. There's been a few state mandates that have required this. We hired Baxter and Woodman, there again, money that we spent for engineering to come up with this result. So we just got to try to do more stuff in-house as a village, try to come up with some good ideas to save money and further what we can do, but we definitely don't want to lose money. Right now, we've had my guys will hate me for saying this, but we've had more water main breaks this year than we had all of last year. So money has to go into the department so you have the money to rebuild, because rebuilding, especially on this east side that we're sitting on right now, is a very old infrastructure. So it's in need of some attention, we'll call it.
What has been done to reduce the tax burden on residents, and are there any future plans?
Reduce the tax burden. We're trying to shore up our finances. We don't plan to go out for any tax increases. I'm not sure exactly what else we can do, but it's something that we can look into. But it's just, we haven't really, everybody does pay high taxes, but we don't get that much from your property taxes. We get a very small percentage, so.
So yeah, the school, as everybody knows, the school gets 80% of our taxes. So I would just try, if I was elected mayor, I would try to use my contacts with the state legislators and try to lessen the burden on homeowners. Make intimate contact with corporations and individuals who invest in our town. So if they invest in our town, we have a lot of these properties that we have open and we get people to invest in them, it would definitely provide a larger tax base, which would lessen the burden on a homeowner.
Okay, I'm gonna start with you this time, Rob. How is the village going to attract new community and residential development?
So I've heard loud and clear from a few people that the business owners and developers, house builders, it's not been easy, and they have been unsuccessful in trying to get things done, trying to partner with the current administration and the way we run things up there. So I would just like to work better with them to lessen that load and try to make it so it's more approachable and people they want to bring business to Winthrop Harbor, because if you make it easier, and it doesn't mean you have to break any laws, or you try to make it easier, so when a person comes in here to develop or they want to do things, we're making it easier. We're almost inviting them in, and that's not to say we can't give them. Pleasant Prairie does this all the time. I drive up that way for work every day. Pleasant Prairie has more business because they eliminated a lot, and obviously they're a bigger community, but they eliminated a lot of the tech on the front end. And then if you get a business and they get established, then they're here for a while, and then you can start collecting that revenue. There's quite a few options you can do. We'll have to get a group together to work on that, but that's definitely options.
We are always looking for new business to come into town, and we are trying to promote new business to come into town. And actually, the contract has been signed. AutoZone is going to go on where Harbor Foods was. So we're looking at that, and we are going to continue to look in that direction. We're working in that direction, but with the COVID hitting, it was everything kind of slowed down and came to a screeching halt. But now we had to get our finances in order, which we've done. We're up to date on our finances. So now we're going to start promoting more and reaching out to developers to come in and look at our village.
Okay. What is your favorite part about Winthrop Harbor?
Oh boy, this is a good one. This is great.
The trustees.
Maybe the part-time one that we know is not coming back, but that's just that. But, so yeah, no, my favorite part of Winthrop Harbor, it's got to be our parks, our marina, our people. The people is what, I was born and raised here. The people of Winthrop Harbor is what makes this place great. The people that, donate their time. We do a lot of stuff at the parks up there, and we do a lot of stuff for the kids. It's hard. Our rec board's depleted. We have people that have been wanting to get onto that, and it's been a problem with that. But all I know is people want to donate their time. We shouldn't turn anybody away, and if people are willing to do that. But my favorite part about this village has to be the people, the marina, just what we got, to offer to people. I think we bring people in. Yes, we pay high taxes, But we have a good, safe community. We have a great fire department. We have a great police department. Sure, we pay a lot of money for that, but them folks are great. And when somebody comes out to your house, they know where they're going, they know where they're at. So I think that's a plus.
Yes, the people, in my opinion, are the best. I remember I was over at the summer fair, I think it was, and Queen come up and asked me, what's your best part of Winthrop Harbor? I said, the people. And she goes, good answer. But people, definitely the marina, all the events we put on, the Santa Run and the summer fair and you know, all the different events we put on throughout the year. I try to make them all. I can't make them all the time, but that's what makes Winthrop Harbor a great place to live.
What can be done in the building department to speed up permits and or hiring the people to make it function better?
So this is a tough one. The building department's been criticized. So when Pat DePerzio left, he kind of ran that whole operation. He had dual hats, obviously. But then things happen. But I think the only thing you can do is, and what I would try to do, I would be committed to educating the building department. So it starts with educating them and how to deal with people, how to deal with different things that come up, knowing our boundaries on what we can and can't do, and just making it easier to obtain permits. And just making that easier is going to make more people want to come in, because if you talk to people, a lot of people don't want to come in and get a permit because they think it's such a hassle. So why make it a hassle? Let's make it easier. And if we do that, then we're bringing in more revenue, because people are going to be like, you know what, I'm going to go to them. I trust them. They're going to help me. They're going to actually give me better ideas, or maybe refer me to a better contractor, a contractor that lives in the village. Because a lot of this stuff, like we get storm damage and stuff, it's outside people that come in. Well, hey, if our building department's there and people really want to come up and they're available and they're ready to listen and they want to help us and they want to promote this stuff, it's gonna increase the revenue, and it's gonna lessen the frustration of the people that come into that department. The frustration level is where people, that's their biggest complaint, I want to say.
When Pat was here, Pat DePerzio, he had an assistant in there. Right now, Sanjay does it all by himself. We're looking at trying to get him help so that things can move a little bit more efficiently and a little bit faster. I've seen Sanjay numerous times. If someone comes up to the window and they don't know how to fill this out, he'll bring them in, sit them at that desk, and he'll walk them through it. The parts of how to fill out this request for a permit. He tries really hard, but he's really inundated with a lot of people coming at his window. But we will continue to try to streamline that department and get things to work way more efficient than they maybe they are right now. But I think with Sanjay being there and an architect, he's way far ahead and knowledge on how to run that department.
What do you say to a young couple who wants to stay in the town, but the cost is so burdensome they can't? And what would you tell your children if they were that young couple? I'll start with you, Mayor.
Yes, well, it's a beautiful community. We got great schools. We have a lot of things to do around here. We have the marina. We are looking at senior living, so hopefully we'll have more homes available if we can get those seniors out of their homes, because I know that was a question I had numerous times going around campaigning. But the tax burden here in Illinois is difficult for people to manage compared to just north of the border. So it is a challenge we face every day, trying to get people to move into the harbor. But we have great events here, and hopefully that will bring people to come in. And we would like to get more homes built, and that means we need to streamline the permit process.
Very good question. I like this one. So what I would try to do, first of all, I would tell them is what do you value? So what do you value? If it's going to be a burden on you, what do you value? Our police department, our fire, our life safety is great here. Our community, that part of it, the safety aspect, our schools, Winthrop Harbor schools are some of the top schools around. I know a lot of people here send their kids to private schools and that's their choice, but a lot of people move here to Winthrop Harbor because of our school system. Our school system is really good in Winthrop Harbor. So if you could burden that for a few years until maybe you got a raise at work or whatever, but when you're first starting out, like all of us know, it's tough. It's tough to first start out, so you would have to start small. Start small, try to remodel. Our home prices here have carried weight. Our home prices have not dropped, even since COVID. Our home prices are right up there. And I know a lot of people, it's hard to get a home here. It's hard to rent a home here. People have a hard time renting a house here. We have a lot of rental houses, so I would just tell them, hey, maybe it's a tough decision. Maybe you want to go where it's less money across the border at first, but if you bear with us, start small and then maybe you can graduate to bigger. And it's a great place to raise your family.
You can start this one. What are your plans within the current, with the current village administrator? I'm going to do these two together. What are your plans for the current village administrator? And do you support the planned pay raise for the village administrator?
So yeah, that goes back to we always were self-performing in this village. It goes back to I think Mayor Bruno was the first one to bring in a village administrator, which a lot of communities do. It's a lot of money. Just the current one is probably it's a lot. It's with the salary it's $500,000 I think that he's going to make just when he was here. We had one before that. Maybe not quite as much. I mean, so it's 140,000 by 3 years. So that's 300, almost 420,000. Yes. So, and he wants a pay raise. He believes, and a lot of them are supportive of that, and that's fine. If that's what people believe, that's what it is. But just need to be transparent. A lot of the public doesn't know that. So, but yeah, I just think if you put the right people in place as your leaders of your departments, they should be able to run the department. Jana Lee ran the whole village when she was here, and unfortunately she passed away. But then, ever since then, we've struggled to get a person. We've had a person in there for our financial part. We've had 4 different financial people come in. Our auditor said they were going to leave because we were in such disarray with our books. So it's just a part that, is a village administrator good? Maybe. Can a little town like this afford it? I don't know. That's up to the public. So
then that means you're going to... Wow.
Dave Alicon has been amazing. When I came on in 2017, we didn't have a village administrator, but they were taken out, and they did this for 6 years, $300,000 line of credit at the end of the year to pay their bills. And I asked the finance person at the time, why are you taking out a $300,000 line of credit? Don't we have budgets? Well, we have budgets, but sometimes there's unforeseen things that we need to purchase. So by the end of the fiscal year, we run out of money, or we run low on money, so we take out a $300,000. Sometimes it's 150, she told me. Sometimes it's 200, 250, and that year in particular is 300,000. So I had a conversation with our attorney saying, what do you think about village administrator? He said, we needed one for 20 years, but no one wanted to go down that road. Since we've had a village administrator, we have never taken out a line of credit. And, financial oversight, he has meetings with the department heads and professional leadership, grant funding. We need him. Yes, he gets $140,000 a year, but I'll tell you what, when we were working on all the union contracts, he said, I don't want my raise until we know what we have left at the end, after we pay everybody else. So that goes to show you that he's here, but he will work for, he does way more work than he's getting paid for. Way more work.
Okay. This is going to be the last question for you, then we're going to move on. It's a 2-part. What are your thoughts on an incubator center to grow business in Winthrop Harbor? And what are your thoughts on our village buying property in town?
I like the incubator idea, I really do. We talked about having up here on the 7th Street Triangle. It's not really gone very far, but that's something I would like to investigate. And what was the other part of the other question? Oh, buying property. We bought the 101 Sheridan right up the state line, and it's been a good purchase. I would like to see us buy more if we can possibly do that, as long as it's in the budget, as long as we have the money in the budget. Then we can use it for what we feel we need it for at the time. But the 101 Sheridan, ever since that light's going in, it's almost doubled in price, the property. So it's a good idea, but we have to watch where we spend our money.
Yeah, definitely. The incubator center's a good idea. We can definitely look more into that. The buying the property, I think the buying the property question is more for the places we have. We've had chances to buy property over the years, but it's hard. It's hard to, we could have bought one of the hotels for $200,000 a few years back when I first got on the board. And it was hard. That was a lot of money back then, but that's nothing now. If we would have invested in that back then, we would own one of them. We could have cleaned it up a little bit. But it's hard to take the taxpayers' money, and real estate's risky. I'm not gonna say it's risky. It always rewards itself. In my lifetime, it's gone down a few times, but usually they always say real estate's a good investment. I mean, I believe that. So buying property is not a bad idea. It just would have to be the right ones. We acquired that property on First Street. They wanted to keep it. A few people thought it was a historical building, which it was not, because half of it came from Wisconsin when it was moved over. So it was never really a historical building. Then we burned it down. The fire department burned it down, and we got to use practice out of that for our guys. So that worked out well. And now that we've had it, and like you said, now that the gas station's going in, we're getting a red light there. That'll be a good attraction for people. The only downside is we don't have water there yet, so it would take a big expense. We'd have to work on grants and stuff for that to get the water ran up to there. We're currently doing a research on it with Baxter and Woodman, I believe, that it's in the works that we're looking into that. So yeah, I am not against buying property if we need to, and then then we could attract businesses and try to give them a deal on said property as long as we're not losing money on it.
We're gonna pass it that way. And we're gonna start with the trustees now and let them do their introduction first. Will you do 3 minutes again?
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to hear from all of us, and thank you from everyone who's set this up for us. My name is John Rickard, and I have lived in Winthrop Harbor for 30 years with my wife Lisa, and together we have raised 2 sons and recently became grandparents. My wife and I own our own business in Winthrop Harbor. We're celebrating 25 years this year in business. I'm currently on Planning and Zoning Board for Winthrop Harbor, and I enjoy being able to work with residents and business owners to try to make improvements to their properties and their businesses. I enjoy working with various local organizations such as VFW, Local Eagle Scouts, our police department, and Community 365 on projects like the Pavilion, police training equipment, and the dock at 38 acres. I am running for village trustee for many reasons. I'd like to use the experience I have running a business and my knowledge of construction and development to assist the village and builders, developers, and homeowners with help generating revenue and increasing property values. I'd also like to focus on our neighborhoods and their values. I'd like to help find ways to utilize the resources we have to keep our property values where we want them to be. I feel that I can be a voice for the residents and stand firm for what I believe is the best for our and present future of the community. I will be able to listen to concerns and do everything I can to research and provide solutions if elected. I'm eager to get more involved in the day-to-day operations of the village and be a more active part of the community. Thank you.
Hello, neighbors. On the ballot, I am listed as Elizabeth McGinnis, but in real life, I'm just Beth. As a bit of background, my husband and I moved in here in 2011 after living 30-plus years in Lincoln Park, downtown Chicago. He and I both grew up in small towns in Ohio, and this environment is what's closer to our hearts. A couple of years ago, after I retired, I decided to start attending the village board meetings on a regular basis. Every month, I would pick little pieces of trying to figure out how does this village operate and who operates it. And I realized that running a village is not unlike running a small business. They have the same struggles with money, with people, with resources, the same as a small business. And I can empathize with that very clearly because I spent my whole career working for small businesses. I've held every position you can imagine, even CEO. I did everything within a business, touched every aspect of it, from negotiating high-level contracts to running to Jewel for a birthday cake. So it's one of those things. This may be a small village, but it's a big job that has to be done to keep things running smoothly. I'm running for trustee in a hope to offer my skills and experience to the village. I have no agenda, I have no platform, and I do not make promises I cannot keep. My only goal as a trustee is to be a resource, to do the work that needs to be done, to get the job done. And that's me. That's it.
All right. I guess I got to stand. Wasn't planning that. So great job. Tough act to follow, to both of you. So very good, and I know that Bob Onen, who's not here, is a great guy. So I know whoever gets elected, I'm really glad to see that the village is going to be in good hands, whether I'm reelected or whether someone else. So I'm always happy to see that. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Dana McCarthy. I've been a village trustee here for 12 years. I've lived in Winthrop Harbor for 20 years with my wife Lisa and my 3 daughters, 2 of whom are here. I was reminded before this event started of why I first ran for trustee over 12 years ago, and that was to set an example for my kids, who were very little at the time. And also at the time I was a teacher here in Winthrop Harbor, and a grandparent of one of my students came up to say hi and let me know how her grandson was doing. It reminded me that one of the reasons I started doing this was to set an example for my students about public service and how really it's a responsibility of all citizens to do what they can to serve. It was not my plan to do it as long as I have. I kind of looked at it kind of like a jail sentence, like, you know, you do your time and then you get to go back home, you know. But here I am again, and I truly do love it. But my life has been dedicated to public service, both personally and professionally. It's how I was raised. It's how I raised my kids, and it's just a part of my life. I had some other things to talk about, but listening to the first part of this forum, I really wanted to spend some time devoting some attention to some things I heard. I know both the candidates for mayor, so I was listening to some interesting things, and as Trustee Mayor Bell mentioned in his opening, that this isn't personal. I love Rob and his family, but I know that a lot of the things he mentioned in his opening about what it means to be mayor, to be collaborative, to have integrity, transparency, all those things which I believe he could bring, but those are things we have now as a board. We are transparent, we have integrity, we work collaboratively, and I can tell you, being on the board for 12 years and working in local government for the last 2 years, I've been in the position of Assistant Village Manager of the Village of Long Grove, and I've worked with other communities. That is not something to be taken for granted, and it's not something we had in my first term here in Winthrop Harbor. The first 4 years I was on this board, that is not what it was
15 seconds
like.
left.
Okay. We had basically a mayor who ran things, and the board was just there to say yes. And over the last 8 years, we've had a board that is collaborative. We've had a mayor who gets things done, and you can see the results. You can look at the website. All right, thank you so much.
Okay. And I don't care which one of you start, then we'll keep passing it down for the next question, for the next person to start and pass it back. What can be done to get the community back involved with cleaning the city? It's actually a village, but
Cleaning up the village, I think things have been looking the other direction on that. You drive through the neighborhoods, there's a lot of people that are doing things at their houses that they probably shouldn't be, and I'm not one for telling somebody what they can and can't do, but we also can't neglect people's yards looking like a dump.
But I don't believe we have a right to interfere with someone's yard because we don't have home rule. Is that correct, Mayor?
We have codes.
You have
We
code.
have
Yeah,
codes,
with codes.
okay.
Yeah, code enforcement.
Okay. Because I was under the assumption that you needed home rule to... No?
It's limited.
Code enforcement.
Well, then we better get going. I didn't realize that. There are a number of yards that I would like to see cleaned up or trees taken care of and so forth like that. So, yes, that's a very good question.
So is that what the question is about? It was about specific homes and
it did,
what
it
they have
just
in it?
says cleaning the city.
Okay, well, I didn't know what it meant. I thought they meant sort of like people in general working together to clean the cities, so.
It could be.
Well, that's how I read it, and what I always say with that is passionate volunteers can always get things done way more effectively than government can. So I always encourage people that if they see something they want done, I always see it as the village's job to encourage and empower them and support them, to take the lead, to start groups, and to encourage other volunteers to work together, and that we as the board can then support them and help them build volunteer groups, give them what they need to basically get out there and get the job done. So ideas are never the problem. There's an abundance of ideas. It's always the will to get things done and the financing that they need. The board can provide the resources, money if needed, things like that. We just need people with that excitement and that will to do it, to step up and do it. We need to provide them with that environment. So if there are people that want to do that, I can help them to make that happen if they're willing to get out there and do it. And we have other groups like Community 365, plug for them, that will help them do that as well. So reach out with that. When it comes to code enforcement, if you see something, say something, bring it up, and the squeaky wheel gets the grease, keep on mentioning it, and we'll make sure we'll get on the list to enforce the codes and to get out there and make sure that we're staying organized and enforcing those codes and doing it. And if you think it's not enough, then work with us to change the code to make sure that we're enforcing it.
Okay, next question, and you can start, Dana.
Let me get a drink of water first.
Okay. I can do the question while you're doing that.
Okay.
What makes you uniquely qualified to serve our community?
Okay, first I thought you were going to stop at unique. And I had a long list going in my head. My kids could help out with that. Uniquely qualified, I think, personally, I think I take a really 360 degree view of each situation. I try to step back, look at any situation that comes forward from all angles, all aspects of it. I try to take a long view of everything to see not just what is the immediate impact, but what is the long-range impact. I think having been on the board for a while now, I see that as a positive and not a negative. I don't think I've gotten comfortable because of that. I think I've actually gained from that and that experience to become more engaged because of it. I think now the experience of working in other governments has actually helped me to value what we do and how we work a lot more, and actually see not just things we need to work on, but what we do really well and how we can build on those things that we do well and turn those positives into even greater strengths. So I think those are just a few things that make me uniquely qualified to serve as trustee.
As I said earlier, I have a lot of years in working with small businesses, and I can bring a lot of experience to the trustee. I've never been a trustee, so I don't know all the workings. I'll admit that. It'll be a learning experience, but I've got the time, I've got the skills, and I've got the energy to do a great job for this village that I just truly love.
I would say my business experience, because running a village is running a business and being responsible for what is done with other people's money. That's where I'm at.
This time we'll start with Beth. Do you feel it is feasibly responsible to spend grant money before it is in the village accounts?
Well, you would only spend money that you have, not that you anticipate having. If you knew for sure that you were going to get some money, fine. But if you do not know that for sure, then someone's going to be holding the bag, and it's going to be us.
You don't spend money you don't have.
Thank you.
It's an interesting question, and I'd kind of like to know what's behind it, because there really aren't examples of us doing that. For an example, when you talk about the Public Works building, you know, we were awarded that grant, and we had to wait a long time to actually start the building on it, because it took a while with COVID and everything before we got the money, and we had to wait to start doing it. And I know people were, you know, a little frustrated with that. I know Tim Niergarter, as Public Works Superintendent, was frustrated because we had to wait. But we didn't start spending and building on it until we were positive that the money was coming through. We've been awarded the grant, but we didn't spend on it. You know, so it's not something we typically do until we've got the guarantees and we know that the money is coming through. And as that came up earlier, you know, the grant money is something significant. And to go back to the village administrator, you know, who does that, that's something where, on the topic of the village administrator, the grant money alone has basically paid for the salary of the village administrator multiple times over. So when people look at the expense of the village administrator, the grants alone are something that's paid for that cost. So you take up the village administrator, you're basically taking away some of that funding. In the last year, the consolidation of the E911, dispatch, thank you, dispatch consolidation. If we had, that's an unfunded mandate, that if we had followed basically what Lake County told us and signed on with Lake Com as they wanted, that unfunded mandate would have basically meant we would have lost $100,000 a year there. David saw those numbers and basically said we weren't doing it. He basically brought it up and made other communities in Lake County realize that they were losing money on it. They decided not to sign on with Lake Com and went other directions. We're now signing a agreement to do our dispatch with Waukegan. We're now saving $100,000 a year with that, all because of our village administrator who refused to do that, essentially paying for basically his salary in doing that. Without him doing that, we would have been basically costing an extra $100,000 a year. That's all something that you can watch the board meeting videos, read the minutes, see it for yourself, ask questions. So for those who are disputing that, and when Trustee Marabella says, you know, does it make sense? You know, I don't know. He was in the same meetings as me, heard the same things, so I'm not sure I understand that analysis.
I'm going to cut you off on that, because you're referring, please don't bring up other candidates.
I apologize, I didn't.
That's ridiculous.
In the opening
It's
statement,
ridiculous.
in the opening statement, you
Okay,
did
but
refer
please
to.
don't bring up other candidates. We're talking for you
My apologies,
specifically.
my
ridiculous.
apologies.
It's
My
pretty
apologies.
low.
I mean,
It's pretty low.
I apologize.
okay,
I-
next question. John, you can start. The rec department is currently understaffed and multiple people have applied to volunteer their time. As a trustee, how will you support getting more volunteers on board?
Well, there's a fair amount of groups that are offering to head that up in the Parks Department of getting volunteers. And from what I've heard through the grapevine, there's some politicking going on between some of those people, and it's not getting done.
I have volunteered. I've even chaperoned a tea dance, which was wild. And my suggestion would be, if you've got a list of volunteers, then you need all of their text numbers or their email addresses. I have often said, just call me, let me know what you need, and I'll be there. And I don't get any response because they don't have my contact information. I know that there's a lot of people out here that would just jump in and help, but we need a two-way communication, some way of letting people know, come on down, we need another chaperone for this crazy team dance.
What was the question?
The rec department is currently understaffed and multiple people have applied to volunteer their time. As a trustee, how will you support getting more volunteers on board?
I'm sorry. I was having a brain zap there. I think it's just a matter of, or if there are volunteers, who have applied for it, I think it's just a matter of, Scott and the rec staff being able to find the time to go through the volunteers who have applied and make sure that they've been given the resources to be put on a schedule of volunteering. So I'm not quite sure I understand why the volunteers aren't being put on the schedule to do it, or what the impetus behind the question is again. So again, I feel like it's a kind of shaded question there, that I understand all the impetus behind it really to answer it fully. So if that's all there is to it, I don't really know if I can kind of give any reasoning behind it.
Okay. What are your thoughts regarding village parks and recreation activities for children and adults?
I think we've been doing a great job of growing those programs. We've added a lot of events for families. We've seen the wrestling events that have been added. For adults, we have the Freak Show and Tell event that my wife and I attended, which was a very cool new event. The rec department staff and the trustees have been looking at adding even more events of those styles to attract not just residents but visitors from outside. Premium events, the idea being that the revenue that's brought in from those would additionally fund the rec department. In a lot of towns that have park districts, so not just parks and rec departments under the village, but park districts such as Zion does, a lot of those can fully fund their expenses through the revenue they bring in from events. So that's outside of their property tax revenue. They're fully funding their budget expenses through the revenue they bring in from events. If they can do that, we can have more of these events that are basically offsetting the costs of the Parks Department's expenses by doing that. We're heading in that direction. I think we're seeing positive growth with that.
It is my understanding that we are planning to put up another play area for very small children. We have one for a little bit older ones, but this would be for little tiny ones. I've seen the plans. I'm not sure where they stand at the moment, but we will be introducing it to small children. And we've added a pickleball court inside the Schlater building, which is so cool. And this summer, I believe, the existing tennis courts, they're going to be repaved, paid for by the Lions Club, and we'll be adding more pickleball courts there. So we are trying little by little to introduce things for not only little children, but for adults. And I love playing pickleball.
I think it's great the way they keep trying to promote the park and keep it in the shape that it needs to be, and promoting and trying to create money, to generate money to keep things going the way they're going, and fixing the buildings and whatever else needs to be maintained out there. I think it's good.
I don't know if you two will be able to answer this question, but are volunteers vetted for safety, and how, if so? Since you're dealing with children.
Yeah, there's a application that they have to fill out there to volunteer. I've had to fill it out even as a trustee when I volunteered for, I don't remember what event it was, either Fun Fair or, I think it was Fun Fair. One of the years I had to fill out the application online to volunteer for it. So there's an online volunteer form that anyone fills out before they are officially volunteer for the events. So they are vetted through that, is my understanding. I'm not staff, so I don't know all the details of it, so you'd have to refer to Scott, but that's my understanding of it.
Okay. What are your plans for the current village administrator?
As I've said before, the administrator funds the work of our current administrator does a lot of things that basically pay for itself. But essentially every municipality in Lake County, in the state, has an administrator or a village manager. You really can't operate without it. If you have municipalities that don't, they're essentially going to be losing money. Nowadays, the work that goes into this, the compliance alone with the state of Illinois, can't be done by a part-time mayor who doesn't have education, public administration, that doesn't have the training, that isn't getting the regular monthly training that comes down from the county, from the state, nationally. There's going to be issues. I say this as someone who works in this field as an assistant village manager in Long Grove. I can tell you this from experience that it just doesn't work. You know, I know that before we had one, you know, we were doing this, but I don't think we were doing it effectively. And I know that we started saving a lot of money on a lot of these things when we went to a village administrator. So I think it is necessary, I think it is vital, and I know that we're saving money, and we're developing at a lot quicker rate than we were before. And I can say currently one of the big strengths with our administrator is collaboration. Our previous village administrator, I consider to this day a close friend, but his strength was not inclusiveness when it came to the board and bringing them together. And when this administrator came in, that is something that he did. He, I think, took a board that had some divisiveness and was able to bring it together to make sure that everybody got the same information, that everybody felt included. And because of that, we've been able to make huge strides, and we can only, I think, improve from here. And I've really feel that gotten a lot out of working with trustees that I didn't work with before that, and that's because of this administrator. So.
I can't profess to know anything about that particular position, not having been part of this board, but I am part of the Economic Development Committee group, and Dave has really done some cool marketing for the village. He built a website called discoverwinthropharbor.org. You should look at it. Discovertheharbor.com, sorry. It really highlights everything about Winthrop Harbor, its businesses, its schools, the marina, everything like that. He's also put into place some marketing campaigns that took place at the boat show and at the fishing show this past couple months, inviting people to come to the village, spend their money, and take advantage of everything we have to offer. From my point of view, what I have seen just through the Economic Development Group, he's doing a great job for the village.
I think it's great for any village employee, as long as they're pulling their weight and earning their money and doing their job, that it helps. I think it is important that you do have a village administrator because of the day-to-day stuff with the state and grants and whatever else, but they have to pull their weight. You have to earn your money. You can't skate through.
John, we'll start with you now. What is your realistic plan to bring new business and consumers to the harbor?
I don't really have a plan because I'm going to be new at this, so it's a matter of getting involved and basically getting involved and seeing what I can do. And the big thing is working with people and making it easier for people to want to come here. I mean, try to pull a permit for a house. It's taking way too long. Remodel permit, way too long. It doesn't work. And it's not difficult and it's not rocket science.
Ditto what John said. I don't have the experience of being on the board and really seeing what is going on and so forth, but we do need new businesses, we do need new revenue coming through and so forth, so.
So we do have an economic development plan. If you take a look at, I believe, the last village board meeting, I can't remember the date, but if you go to the website or go to youtube.com and search Village of Winthrop Harbor Village Board Meetings, you can see the video that where David gave an update on the Winthrop Harbor Economic Development Plan. It's actually based on the EDC's plan that they came up with a few years ago. Trustee Hargett can tell you about that plan because I think he wrote it. But David goes over a kind of summary of it that he came up with where it can talk about it. Keep in mind, you know, we have our plan, but then there's also the businesses and the market research they do, and then there's the economic environment and circumstance that all work together. But I can tell you that the village comes up with a plan, and then we work the plan to the best of our ability. And I can tell you that David, the trustees, the local businesses, the mayor, they all work together, collaborate, trying to work this plan. If you go to the website and social media, you can see the things that are being done to try to work that. Focusing on the benefits of our location, tourism, the lakefront, revitalizing the building, the spaces that we have, focusing on the types of businesses that we think are key, dining, charter fishing is a huge one. So we went to the Fishing Expo. We're trying to create groups among the restaurants and trying to collaborate with the charter fishing captains to work together so that we can promote wisely and work together to grow everybody. Also continuing to get grants together, partnerships with other businesses, and also focusing on sustainability, how we can look at the long-term impact and development. So there are plans, they are working it. Check out the meetings, check out the videos, and ask questions to see how you can be a part of it, because the more people we have on board working it, the more we can do.
And we're going to start now with the supervisor candidates, since we don't have too many more questions for you. So you have 3 minutes for your introduction.
You'll give me a 20-second heads up. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Street, and I know a lot of you people in the audience, and glad to be back in this forum, even though it's a little different. Lifelong resident of the Zion Winthrop Harbor area, the last 40 years in Winthrop Harbor, and predominantly my career has been in the public service. Wore many hats, but mostly a fire helmet. And fire rescue, EMS, paramedic career with Zion, but I moved to Winthrop Harbor about 2 years after I joined Zion, and raised my family here. And Some of you might remember the old siren blowing in town here. I kept asking Ron Levin, why is that, because he was a fireman with me in Zion, why do you keep blowing that siren? He said, well, if you join the fire department, it might not blow as much. So I began my career with Winthrop Harbor as a part-time, paid-on-call firefighter. And so it's been my life. And even though I'm retired from that, I still do teaching around the area for FEMA. I'm a FEMA instructor at the training center in Glenview, do Lake and McHenry County teaching, as well as the National Fire Academy in Maryland. My last 16 years on the job here in the harbor, I ended up being the chief, and that really helped me grow in my job as a battalion chief in Zion. It worked very well. Kind of had the best of both worlds. I was on 24 hours there and off for 48 hours here. And I was available a lot, and it helped me get my education. All those things did, and I found out that's the key through CLC, and I got my associates and bachelors through that, and it helped me in promotions over the years. I've worked in emergency management pretty much all my life in one form, fashion, or the other, and we've had a lot of major things around here, but just taking care of everyday things, dealing with emergencies, but making contacts, communicating with neighbors has been a big part of it. Worked very closely as chief and as a battalion chief in Zion with our local organizations, Lions Club, Kiwanis, all those groups, AARP, spent a lot of time talking to groups and working with that, promoting public safety, basically taking care of people. It's really what we do, and I've never given that up. Collaboration is a big thing, but making relationships with politicians, now fellow businesses, industry. It's really about working with the public and making sure everything kind of meshes
15
together.
seconds.
Sorry?
You got 15 seconds.
Okay, well, I'll cut it off there and save the rest for the last. But basically, I am here as a public servant, and I'm going to change hats. And I've been on the board for 8 years with Larry Booth, and he's asked me to take over what we've been doing out there. That's fine. Thank you.
I'm going to ask, can everyone hear me? Because I don't think the mic... No? Use it? Okay. Good. I'm a little nervous here. So I'm Amy Onan, a candidate for Benton Township Supervisor. And first I want to thank my family and friends. My family has put in a lot of hard work and patience while I pursue running for office. Two things. My first thing is I want to address the rumor that I would like to combine townships. This is not true, nor feasible by the supervisor. It is something that comes from the state and needs to go out for a referendum, and then the people vote on it. So just to say that clearly, and if you have questions after, I would be happy to answer. Second, who am I and why am I running? Well, I am committed to public service, have a deep passion for community engagement along with workforce development and social services as part of my background. With experience in local government, higher education, and in the nonprofit sector, I have dedicated my career to strengthening communities and advocating for residents in need. As a resident of Benton Township, I have served in 2 leadership programs, one Zion Benton Leadership Academy, and the other when I was employed by the county, I lead through the county, which inspired me to become more involved with community. In 2015, I was elected to the Zion Benton Public Library Board, so in my tenure there, I'm now serving as president, also involved with Winthrop Harbor on the Economic and Development Committee, currently serving with the Police Commission, and I have dedicated the last 1.5 years, 2 years to going to Benton Township meetings to ensure this is something that I want to pursue. Professionally, I have built strong relationships, managed critical programs, and supported individuals in achieving stability and success. As a client workforce coordinator and case manager for the Zion Township, I see individuals that are in need of assistance and oversee programs that provide assistance to the services that they need, along with employment opportunities to help serve our residents. My experience also, or I should say, work experience also is from higher education. I worked at the College of Lake County in a scholarship program where I was able to engage students with their career opportunities and pathways and have them successfully go through educational resources. I hold a bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a minor in psychology, and I am an energetic,
15 seconds.
self-motivated individual who strives to foster relationships with residents, businesses, and organizations to help improve Benton Township. At this time, I am thankful that you came out today, and I humbly ask for your vote.
That's it. Okay, first question. What changes will you bring to the Benton Township? And I don't care which one of you go first, the next time the next one can.
So, I don't know about changes. The budget is pretty well structured, but I would like to bring resources that I have gained from my experience. Right now, I mentioned I'm a case manager for Zion Township. We collaborate with many different nonprofits, Catholic Charities, Mother's Trust, and there's individuals within the harbor and Beach Park, because we serve 2 communities, so that could use additional help. And that's one thing I'd like to bring, not change, but bring additional programming.
Having been on the board for 8 years, I've learned a lot about township government. I used to work with township government as chief officer here because they're part of the governance of Winthrop Harbor is through the Winthrop Harbor Fire Protection District, which is appoints a 3-member board through the Benton Township. So I've had collaboration with the township for many years. And so it's been a learning experience for my 8 years, exactly what's done by the township government. And we do collaborate with many of those same groups that Amy's talking about. We do a lot for seniors. We try to keep government as small. A lot of our people that signed my petition and I've talked to over the years is that they feel, small government is not necessarily a bad government. So we've done that as a board and through Supervisor Booth, keep it running efficiently, kept the budget flat many years, and tried to take care of our business and taking care of our senior residents, especially those general assistance clients or emergency assistance clients. We do hook them up into Catholic Charities and the service organizations. We have a good staff that's on top of that. So I think we keep on top of what changes and bring in changes as necessary. And that's, so right now we have a lot of well-running programs that we take care of.
Next question. What can be done to help lower taxes, building houses in town? The taxes will start at $15,000. I don't know what taxes start at, we're a new home, but that's the question.
I'm not sure how that's relevant to township government.
I don't know.
No, we have no building department. We do not issue building permits. Our tax rate is minuscule compared to some of the other things. We've kept it flat generally most of the last few years. I don't know really anything else to add.
Right, yeah, correct.
Okay. What makes you uniquely qualified to serve as Township Supervisor?
Your turn.
What makes me uniquely qualified? So I would say my background, my passion for community, and what I do right now in my current position. So as Mike said, there's a lot of collaboration for other organizations, and general assistance is the one thing that all townships have. Townships are all different from areas. You go to Warren, Benton, Waukegan, everybody's different. But the one thing that they do is fund general assistance. And in my current job at Zion, that's what I do day to day. I have a caseload of 23 individuals, and that is individuals that are pending Social Security disability or seeking employment. So my background from the college and from workforce development help with employment, job seekers. But I would be able to bring that, do it day to day, because there is a part-time person that does that currently, and there would be no need for part-time individual. It would be a part of the supervisor's position. And I want to be more visible. Being on the library board has connected me to both communities, Beach Park and the harbor, and I want to continue that because it's who the township serves.
I feel the 8 years has been a training ground for me, and for the last nearly a year, Larry did advise me that he probably wasn't going to run again. And I'm persuasive at times, but this wouldn't work this time. I couldn't keep him talked into staying on because I've worked with Larry for the last 25, 30 years, being retired police chief from Zion, and I knew him well there. And when he asked me to come on, I said, I'm not a politician. He said, you really don't have to be. There's 3 people running for 4 seats 8 years ago. And I said, well, okay, I can try that. And I didn't have to put out too many signs or anything like that. But it's been a great experience to learn the process of what township government is and working with this great staff that we have out there. The township covers the assessor's office as well as the township offices. And I work closely. I've been shadowing him for several months now, and he's had me come out and explained everything to me, and it's really interesting. But working with seeing the public coming in, senior citizens that we deal with, those people that are down and out for the general assistance clients and emergency assistance clients that we have to deal with, it's been a great continuation in my public service and dealing with the public, and I just feel that I am ready to jump in with both feet on this and can bring that to the table.
Okay, well, this is kind of directed at Amy, but are you counting Zion Township duties if elected Benton supervisor? If so, how?
Am I counting? I'm not sure.
Continuing, I'm sorry.
No,
Are you continuing
actually-
Zion Township duties?
I'm not. Actually, not that this is relevant or I'm putting this out there for your vote, but my position has been eliminated. They're restructuring. So as of the 29th, I will be no longer at Zion Township, but it's for the best for the township. They're looking at more social services, and I don't cover social work, the MSW. I don't have that degree in my background, so this is a good opportunity. But no, no more job.
Basically, the rest of the questions were either repeats or the mayor candidates. I can go back to them if you would like. Okay?
Yes.
Then we need to pass the microphone down.
Round 2.
One question is, and this was for any village official, but I think it would be more the mayor. Can any village official find out when the marina bathrooms by the pool will be rebuilt? And can anyone keep checking with the state to encourage them to get this done?
Yeah, they had a fire down there, so the bathrooms are being renovated, 2 years ago. And I believe they're still waiting on the state to open up the money to get that done. So hopefully it'll be done soon, but the state doesn't work very fast.
Yeah, I'm sure that can be looked into for that, but it's been 2 years, and we go to the pool every summer, and it's a big inconvenience not being able to use that bathroom.
May I?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's for the whole.
Yeah. So this is one that the state has been slow with the permit issue, and that the village has engaged on behalf of the marina Joyce Mason to put pressure on them but for some reason, it's just a continuing thing. So if someone does want to know, they can email us, email the village and ask about what the status is and get an update on that. But for some reason, the state is holding that up.
What are the choices for getting funding for road improvements, and how and when will the roads be repaired? Example, 11th Street.
So that actually is on the plan for this year, 11th Street. Is if you look at, Tim Niergarter has a plan, and everybody knows this part of it's not really a debate question for that part of it. The other part is we do have a plan. I believe it's on the website also for what roads we're paving, and we had a study and it shows the roads worst to best, and they're all the worst, as we all know living here. My daughter said when we used to walk in her old house, why is there chocolate chips all over the road? But that's asphalt that's broken up. So we know it's in disrepair, but I believe we just got to go after funding and stuff like going after our state representatives, like I said, to try. Is it something that can be done? I don't know that, but is it? If you got to ask and you got to try to get things like that done. So I think sometimes it's looking outside of the box of our normal, which I think we're good at as a whole, and just trying to get that done.
Yeah, the 11th Street, 13th Street also is going to be done this year. But yeah, there's every year there's several roads that are on the docket to do. But as a matter of fact, I reached out to our state rep just the other day regarding any infrastructure. When I testified in front of a bipartisan Senate subcommittee, got $444,000. Our senator and our state rep is working on possibly bringing that back to the table, and I'll be happy to do it again.
Okay. What are your major accomplishments?
Obviously, I have not been mayor, but when they mandated years ago, they said if you live within a certain radius of Lake Michigan, you have to draw from Lake Michigan. We used to be on a well, if people don't know that. The older people in Winthrop Harbor know that. We were on a well, we had a water tower. This is going way back, administration's way back, and so we had a well. Well, we got rid of the well, we were mandated, so we had to get city water, so that started. So we used to use the well as our salt barn. So I got put on as on Parks and Rec because they said that's the department we don't want people to get carried away with, and we don't know you yet, so we're gonna put you in there. And I'm loud, as people know. So then they moved me to Public Works. So moving into Public Works, the only way I could get them to tear down the water tower, I said, hey, there's an old military, and it's a United States decrepit flag. It's kind of embarrassing. The flag looks horrible. So finally got them, we tore that down. So to tear that down, we stored our salt in there and miscellaneous stuff. So long story short, we got the salt barn. Got okayed for that. Then we got our Cleary building, which is the building in the back. So I kicked and screamed to get that. Dick Robarts was part of that at the beginning, but it was me mostly kicking and screaming, saying, hey, we need this building. My guys need somewhere. Our building up front's decrepit. We don't pay a gas bill there, so it didn't, that wasn't a big deal, but the wind just blew under. The doors that building was horrible. There was mold in there, all that. So we got a salt barn, we got that building, and then obviously we got a grant for that. And then just working hard on infrastructure and getting the different things and saying, hey, I'm not to be the one the sky's falling, but I've been saying that our infrastructure's been horrible, and especially on this east side, and when stuff goes bad, it's gonna go bad, and it's coming. And I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just trying to say, hey, it's bad, but in accomplishments for the future, I just want to keep moving forward and make this a better place, keep taxes steady, try to come up with outside, think outside the box, like I said, outside resources and ways we can make our community better, attract business, keep everybody happy, because we know our school taxes aren't going away and we can't control them. They're going to keep increasing, unfortunately. That's just part of the state of Illinois. So all we can do is our best and try to move forward with what we got.
The one big accomplishment was bringing in a village administrator, and Our first one, I learned a lot from him, and main thing was getting to the state, talking to your state reps, talking to your state senator, meeting with them, going to Springfield for initiatives that we need, like mostly grants, and that helped out a lot. And I still stay in touch with our senator and state rep on a regular basis. Our state rep once told me, you know, I know Winthrop Harbor starts with a W, but if there's any grants that are going to be opening up, I'm calling you first. So she's said that to me numerous times. Professional leadership, the public safety, we have to do, continue to work on that, bringing in new business, working with the marina, with the dredging issue that they have over there now that's not getting rectified, and it's going to really affect that marina. Talking to our state rep to get that done. Told that DNR didn't have any money left in their budget, but that's not an answer. But we're working really hard with all these different companies and agencies to see if we can't get this done. But just balancing our budget is another one. We are actually up to 2025 in our budget. We had to bring somebody in to actually streamline that and move that forward quicker. But I mean, getting the village administrator was probably the best thing ever. We're on our second one, and this guy, David Alicon, has been excellent, been outstanding. He's worked really with everybody in Springfield, and we're talking to our congressman as well. But I think that's what we need to continue to do, because we cannot afford to go back to what we were doing prior to that, and we're running just off of our budget to do things, taking out loans to do things. It's going to put a burden on this, on the tax base here, and on the people of this village.
Was that one only for the mayors? Or?
You want to talk?
Okay.
Be my guest.
I just wanted to cover, because it was on accomplishments in office, correct? Yep. Okay. And just I don't think for any of the accomplishments was any one individual. I think anything that's been accomplished has been a group thing. Over the last several years, I chaired the administration, finance, and community development, and some things that the board accomplished when it comes to finances, transparency, and financial stewardship that I want to add that I think I'm really proud of that we did. We had open budget and financial planning where we developed a vehicle replacement schedule to make sure that we were no longer continuing to have to take out excessive loans and financing for our vehicle replacement for public works and police and fire department. So we were able to take out general obligation bonds to fund that and get on a vehicle replacement schedule, whereas we used to just take out loans every time a department had told us a vehicle needed to be replaced, so that's a huge money saver. We outsourced our utility billing, which will save us thousands each year, maximized grant funding, as we already mentioned, developed strong financial policies by creating a comprehensive finance policy manual, which has enhanced the village's bond rating. We're pursuing Government Finance Officers Association certification, which ensures third-party budget reviews. We're developing strategies to increase sales tax, gaming, and cannabis revenue. We've invested village funds into high-yield CDs, which will bring in another revenue stream, which we're always looking for alternative revenue streams to relieve the tax burden. And we're always looking to other new policies to help us increase transparency and increase revenue. So, thanks.
What is the one thing you wished you would have done differently? And we're just going to keep it to these two so that we have enough time for your closing remarks.
So I can't do nothing different. Mostly for him.
That's a very good question. Gosh, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything right now. What's one thing I would do differently? Can't think of anything.
So, I just want to go back to, so nobody says, so, and I get it's all, nobody said we don't need a person that's going to do all the things that the village administrator does. It's just the high salary is what I was worried about. So it doesn't mean we're not going to put a person in that department that can do all of those things. It's just going to be at a lesser wage, that's all. And you can find that in lots of places. There's a lot of young up-and-comers too, college-educated people that are eager to get out there and do things. So it's not that, everybody keeps saying, it's not going back to the way as it was. It's just, if you're elected mayor, it's your job to make sure them parts are there and not to overpay people to do things you can't do. That's all I'm getting at. I'm not gonna argue, I just want to make that clear. It's not just going back to part-time mayor is doing it. No, obviously that would be ludicrous.
Okay, can we pass it down?
Yep.
We're gonna start the 3-minute closing if you have one, and we'll start with Amy and then just go down the paper. Sorry.
That's what.
I would say that I'm ready to serve at the next level. I have a strong passion for community, and it is, I guess, seen, if you can, please follow me on my Facebook page, but I'm all over the place, and I'm in Beach Park. I'm a PTO mom because that's where my young man goes to school. But truly, this is something that I have worked on achieving literally for the last 2 years. I came out in the parade, the Memorial Day parade last year, and I have strived to do this. I've met with individuals for coffee, for lunch. I feel this is the next step in my career and want to serve Winthrop Harbor residents to the best that I can. Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to say a few things in closing. I didn't get a chance to mention the fact that we have also been actively pursuing grants for roads, because we do have 5.4 miles of roads left, and there's a lot of, as I walked those streets with our consultants and Supervisor Booth in the last few months, they're crumbling. And we did finally obtain a $250,000 grant that due to our tight budget, we've been able to save over the last few years enough to pretty much come up with the total project we're going to be doing for Lindale Drive and Oak Crest Lane and the Park Avenue down to Camp Logan Road is going to get done, and then 16th Street. So with the consultants working with us closely, we're going to finally get some stuff done. But it's a state grant, and we were lucky enough to get that. But I'd just like to say that the biggest thing I'd like to discuss, and just briefly, is the collaboration and contacts of so many people that I've been in touch with and worked with in my former positions, maintain good working relationships with Supervisor Whitmore out in Newport Township. We utilize Newport Township's road crew. They were contracted with them, and they've come out and take care of our roads on a daily basis as needed. We just have a lot of people that we work with on a daily basis, and I just am amazed to see the public coming in and our staff helping them out, whether it's filling out forms for assistance with the PACE bus, RTA, Dial-A-Ride. That's township government. And so many comments I hear from the nice staff that's out there and able to help us. We want to maintain that. And that's my goal, is to maintain that. And I'm just hoping to have the opportunity to keep that going like we've been doing for the last 8 years that I've been there. So, thank you.
First, I just want to apologize for earlier for not following the rules and for calling out another candidate out here. I let my passion get the best of me, and I didn't intend to do that, so I apologize. Rob, you didn't deserve that, and I certainly didn't intend to do that. So, and Margot, I apologize for that. So, and if you know me, what you see is what you get. I don't mean to hurt anybody or offend anybody, and certainly if like I said, if I let my passion get the best of me, I definitely want to fix that. And so, again, You know, and if you don't like that about me, I apologize, but I'd love to get to know you and let you get to know the real me. Doing this is not about politics for me. It's not about winning or losing. It's about relationships, working together, being creative, and making things better for all of us. The question that was last asked was one that I really liked, and that's what's one thing you would have done differently? Because I have an answer to that. And it's that I would have worked together earlier with the, see, I'm getting emotional now. I don't know why I'm doing that, because I'm thinking about some of the trustees that I've started working with over the last couple of years that I've known for a long time and never worked with, and just realizing how much potential we have together to do some amazing things, and how we could have done so much more earlier. So that's something I would have done differently, because that's what's really important, is the relationships and what you can achieve together with those. And if reelected, I really look forward to building on those relationships and doing some amazing things for the village and for the people with those other leaders in the community. I really loved getting to hear from the other candidates tonight and what they can do. John and Beth, you guys are awesome. You guys did a great job. So if you guys are elected, you're going to be awesome. So, all right, you guys too. So, all right, thank you.
Well, if elected, I know I would be a good resource for the village. But what I'd really like to promote is the village board meetings. You really should come out and sit with me, because most of the time I'm by myself. You will really learn about the village. There's just so many aspects that I learned over the past year and a half, thereabouts, that I would never have known had I not attended the meetings. Some of them are dry, but some of them are really quite exciting, and so forth. And each department gets to show off their stuff. The fire department, the police department, the village manager. Each person, you know, displays what's going on, and you really do get a feel. So I invite you, third Tuesday of every month, 7 p.m., join me.
I would just like to thank all of you for taking time out of your day and coming out here and listening to my gibberish. I appreciate it, and I'm a straightforward guy. I say what I say, and that's the way it goes. Can I ask a question? Does the village of Winthrop Harbor get any money from the garbage dump that's in our backyard?
Tipping fees. Tipping fees, yeah.
Tipping fee?
Small amount, yeah.
What does that relate to? Like,
Yeah, I'd say no more than 250.
All right, yeah, thanks for everybody coming out. This is good. I do want to make one thing known. George was talking about it earlier. With that spent fuel, there has been legislation passed that's it's going to make our taxes go down in each community. Zion gets the most part of it. All the surrounding areas. Ours, it doesn't go down. It doesn't take effect until 2026, but it's somewhere to be between 4% and 8%. But just know that the state government has done that much for us. The federal government did it, they gave it on down. But. So if elected, yes, I want to do some quarterly public meetings. I mean, I don't care if it's here, if it's at the park, if it's at your house, or whatever. People want to talk about things. I think it's important that we get out there and really hear them. And like we said, and that's even as far as it goes. If people, if we see things that are bad in town, like code enforcement, Beach Park has 4 people that just go around and do code enforcement. They've been pretty good at it lately. Since we've lost our CSO, we lost our code enforcement stuff, which I get COVID happen and things happen, but I think that's really important. And going out there, it's not like you want to fine your people, and it's not like you're going to go out there. You can go out there and tell them, hey, you really need to clean this up. Your neighbors don't like this. Why don't we clean this up? Give them a one chance. If they don't do that, then we come back and we levy fines. We got to do something to clean it up. I mean, if you just take a ride, like when we did the Santa run, my eyes really opened up because I got to see every place in Winthrop Harbor. and we drove around. And you know, I personally have never done that, and that's my fault as being your trustee. I should have done that. You got to get out there and look at all the areas, all that's there. That's just part of it. And like you were saying, we do really need to get that TIF district going so we could get the corridor. I know they try to focus on 7th Street here, but I think Sheridan Road is the big part. All the people that go through our community drive down Sheridan Road. They don't really come this way unless they're going to the marina, so we need to do that. And then try to look, like he's saying, for the road paving. I really do want to look into that. I think our state government will work with us if we go hard enough. I mean, basically, if you just say it's just a 3-mile radius in, so these people can compete with people, you know, going out of their areas. So anyway, thanks for coming today, and I appreciate everybody, and go April Fool's Day.
We've accomplished a lot over the past several years, but I believe there is still much more untapped potential in Winthrop Harbor. Our community is rich with valuable assets, our beautiful parks, our growing recreation programs, and family events that bring us together. And of course, all of that benefits that come with being situated so close to State Park and a Great Lake. But our most valuable asset isn't found on a map. It's you, our residents. As long as we continue to embrace new ideas, welcome change, and work together, there is no limit to what Winthrop Harbor can achieve. The future of our village depends on not only on leadership, but also on the energy, engagement, and vision of the people who call this community home. I've spoken today about the incredible team that has been part of our success. Our village administrator, Dave Alicon, has gone above and beyond to set Winthrop Harbor on a path to success. Our trustees dedicate countless hours, both behind the scenes and out in the community, ensuring the progress continues. Our village staff, whose dedication and hard work often go unnoticed, play a critical role in making sure our village runs smoothly and efficiently. And finally, you, our residents. You are not just spectators in this process. You are a vital part of the team that keeps Winthrop Harbor moving forward. Your feedback, your concerns, your questions, and your ideas help shape the direction of our village. And I encourage more of you to get involved. Maybe next time one of you will be up here running for office, ready to serve this community at an even deeper level. Winthrop Harbor has made great strides, and I am confident with that continued leadership, teamwork, and community involvement, we will achieve even more. I hope to earn your support and your vote in this election so we can continue working together toward our shared vision, making Winthrop Harbor not just a great place to live, but truly the cornerstone of Illinois. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for coming. It's been great to see such a good crowd come to be interested in our village. They both spoke about volunteers. There's still committees that need volunteers. Our Economic Development Commission needs people. We're still not full. Planning Board right now is full, but I don't know if that will change. But there are, I'm sure the Rec Department might need somebody, but there is a lot of opportunity for you as a resident of Winthrop Harbor to get involved. So think about it seriously because they can't do it all. Thank you.